Alright guys, so the other day I basically made a video that showcased that I got #1 rank in this new season, and I also said that if we do hit 1,000 likes in that video, I will be making a video on my brand new and improved settings and sensitivities, plus on my class setups, and we managed to hit that goal. So today is gonna be that day where I showcase that to you guys. But before we do get on with the video, let's try and get 1,200 likes, and I will be doing whichever setup the top comment says in this video. So make sure you go down there, like the video, and drop a comment, and let's get on with the action. Alright guys, so up on #1 we do have the 3-shot Peacekeeper. Now keep in mind, this is based off the order of what my setups are, not based off what I rank the weapon from the greatest to the worst. Now this one right here is actually one of my favorite weapons that I've been using, since it's pretty versatile when it comes to all ranges. Plus it does have a up to 3-shot potential, like I mentioned in the beginning. If you guys want to watch a video on this, make sure to check out my channel. But right here is my setup. As you guys can see, I'm using the rapid fire barrel, which basically is key when it comes to this weapon, making it that 3-shot thing that I was talking about. And obviously the rest of it is based off of mobility. So if you guys love your movement and you guys like ADSing very fast, this is the setup to go to. And let's get on with class number 2. Now up on #2 we obviously have the one, the only, the Kilo, which has been a top 5 weapon for a while now. Now even though it did get its nerfs here and there, it is still a very good contender to being the best, if not one of the best ARs in this current game. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is up there with the Type 25. And here is my setup on the board. It is actually a 3-shot potential based on where you hit the bullets, but here it is. I do use the tactical suppressor now instead of the monolithic suppressor, because the monolithic suppressor decreases the ADS bullet spread and has a less of a ADS time, which means the tactical suppressor is obviously the better one, since you will ADS much faster than the monolithic suppressor. Alright guys, now up on #3 we do have the AK-117, which is probably one of my all-time favorite ARs. I did lie. I know I mentioned that the Kilo and Type were my favorite, but I forgot about this weapon completely, and I'm very sad that I did. But the AK-117 was probably one of my favorite weapons back then. If you guys are unaware, I made a video with the AK-117 almost every single day when I first joined Tribe. So I'm actually, like I said, very upset that I forgot about this weapon. But this got a huge buff. They basically increased the overall damage and the damage range, making it pretty viable, which was why I put it #4 on my list. And if you guys want the setup, it is up on the screen right now. It is a mobility build, but the recoil on the other hand is pretty, I would say, difficult to control. So if you guys do have problems of doing that, you guys can honestly switch out any attachment to make it easier for you guys. And I was gonna say let's go with #4, but #4 is also a AK-117 setup. The only difference is that there is a different green perk than the one that I use on this one. So let's get on with class number 5. Alright guys, now up on #5, I know you guys were waiting for this. It is the #1 gun in this current season. I am absolutely in love with this weapon. I use this weapon every single game, every single day, and every single week. Reason being is because it is very good. It is the most versatile weapon because you can basically use it in any sort of way. Doesn't matter if you want to use it in a passive way. It doesn't matter if you want to use it in an aggressive way. You guys can also use it in short range. You guys can also use it in mid range. You guys can even use it in long range. No matter what, this gun can do everything you want for you. So if you guys like a weapon like that and you guys think it sounds amazing, here is the setup on the board right now. Like I mentioned, I no longer use the monolithic suppressor on my weapons. I use the tactical suppressor since it has less disadvantages. So now that we're done with #5, let's get on with #6. Alright guys, now up on #6 we have once again another 3-shot weapon. It is the brand new and improved GKS, which is one of the weapons a lot of pro players are starting to use. It is basically a hybrid AR and SMG combined into one, which makes this weapon also pretty viable to use in any certain situation. Now me personally, I don't really use it as much because obviously I do main the CBR, but if you guys want a heavy hitting weapon that has better range when it comes to long range than the CBR, this is the weapon to go to. Now it is also a very good lane holding weapon, but the only problem with this is that the BSA isn't really that great. So if you guys want to build it for that, you guys can, but you guys remember that the ADS time will go to crap if you guys do decide to do that. But now that we're done with #6, let's get on with #7. Now up on number 7 we have the Unforgettable M13. Now I do know that this weapon is still a top 5 weapon, but unfortunately not that many people are using it. Many people are still using the CBR. I would like this weapon to get some sort of attention sometime soon because it is missing out on a lot. This weapon has a lot of great features about it, and one of them being the fire rate. The fire rate is just far faster than most of the weapons that you see now, so even if you get the first shot and you're gonna 100% of the times kill them, which is very great. And up on the screen right now is going to be the setup that I use. Keep in mind it is a very odd setup, but this is the setup that I got from Slothy. If you guys don't know him, he is a teammate of mine, so if you guys have any problems with him, just feel free to attack him, not me. Now up on number 8 we do have the MAC-10, which is still the best close range SMG when it comes to maps like Summit or even Standoff. I still use this from time to time, but because of the range nerf that it's gotten this season, I do still stick out with the CBR. But if you guys are an OBJ warrior and only stay on the hill and want to play close quarters, this is the weapon for you. As you guys can see, this is the setup that I like using a lot. It is far different than the one I made a long time ago. I know I haven't made a video with the MAC-10 in a while, so I might make one soon, but here is the setup. Like I mentioned, I would 100% recommend this because not only is it great with mobility, it is also good with controlling the recoil, and I know some of you guys have problems with that, so use this one right here. And for number 9, I obviously have another MAC-10 setup. The only difference is that I actually use Gunko on this one, and then on my other one I use Ghost for rank S&D obviously. Now up on number 10, this is our final one. We do have the LK24, which I had very high hopes for. I even made a video saying that this gun was going to be a top 5 weapon, but unfortunately I was proven wrong. It is a viable weapon if you guys do want to have some fun and use a non-meta weapon, but when it comes to using it against meta weapons, I have some sad news to tell you, and that is that this weapon is not going to be great at all. I apologize for clickbaiting you guys when I did make that video, but here is the setup on the screen. I still have some hope for this weapon. I hope they buff it one more time to make it viable enough next season, but I'm not going to have my hopes up too high. And now that we're done with the setups, let's get on with the brand new settings and controls. Alright guys, so we're going to be starting off with control panels first, and as you guys can see, it is a bit claustrophobic, and the reason for that is because I do use a 4-finger claw. It basically means I use 2 thumbs and 2 index fingers. If you guys are confused as to where I put my fingers, here is a picture up on the screen now. It is color coordinated. Basically, the yellow is left index finger, the green is left thumb, the red is right index finger, and the blue is right thumb. If you guys just want a simple explanation, it is on the screen right there like I mentioned. That is where I put my fingers. It is the best case scenario for myself. It is the most comfortable. It could be different for you guys, so try not to copy it fully. If you guys do have bigger fingers than me, or if you guys have small fingers, it goes both ways. Just find something that fits you the best way, that makes you the most comfortable, and that is going to be the best thing to do for yourself. Alright guys, so these are my basic settings. There is a lot of info to go through, so I'm not going to be going over them one by one. I'm just going to be scrolling, and you guys can feel free to take a picture. Just remember that these are my settings, and these are the settings that I personally feel the most comfortable with, so it could be different for you guys. Make sure you guys don't copy them fully because it could be different like I mentioned before. The one thing I do want to tell you guys about is obviously the camera FOV. I do use 76. The FOV basically allows me to see further or closer when it comes to an enemy or the overall map, so keep that in mind. And then everything else you guys can do personal preference, it does not matter. And now that you're done with the basics, let's get on with the audio and graphics. Alright guys, so for the graphics, I obviously use the ultra frame rate, which basically allows me to get 90 to 120 hertz, which makes the game very smooth. And then for the graphics, I obviously use medium because that's the max I can get when I do use ultra FPS. And then everything else doesn't really matter because obviously I don't really care for zombies or anything. There's not even a zombies mode in COD Mobile anymore. And then for the audio, I basically use everything at 100. And then for effects, this is personal preference, but I do use the tactical effect, and it is pink because that is the most visible one for me. And then for the get hit hint, it is green because that is also very eye-catching, which basically allows me to get the info as fast as I can. And then we are going to be going over to sensitivity. Now, as you guys can see, I do use a speed acceleration. It basically means the further I swipe my screen, the faster and the further out I will be getting to the place I want to look at. It takes time to get used to, but once you do, you guys will have the most perfect of flicks. And then up here, we do have my regular sensitivity. I will be going over them very slowly. For the 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, and 8 times, I wouldn't really recommend copying my sense because those aren't really accurate. I don't really use them at all, so I didn't bother like setting up a proper sense for them. But for the firing sensitivity, it is also the same thing. Don't bother using my 3 times, 4 times, 6 times, or 8 times, like I mentioned, because those are completely random. I didn't even bother touching them. And then for gyroscope, I have random values because obviously I don't use gyroscope. But that is gonna be the end of my sensitivities, settings, and setups for this brand new season 5 update. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, make sure to drop that sub, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.